guys? Welcome back to another TechToff video. It's me, TechToff, and I do apologize for the really long delay between my last video that I had in this video. But as you can imagine from the title of the video, this was a somewhat expensive project and very time-consuming in terms of planning and actually making it physically work in the space that I have. So today's video, if you haven't already noticed, is going to be all about this new desk I built. This Ikea desk, 2 Alex drawers, and a Hammarp countertop. So pretty much what we're going to go over is what you need if you want to try it out yourself, how I actually did it in terms of prepping, assembly, etc., and some trouble and advice I have, and I'll let you know what I think about it and some final impressions. So let's get right into it, and I'll tell you what you need to get started. Alright, so to get started, first thing you're going to need, of course, is the countertop, and if you head over to Ikea.com here, it can give you some realistic prices if you go in store. If you go to a third-party site like Amazon, something like that, you're going to end up paying a little bit more, but it comes in 2 sizes. I opted for the larger 98-inch length for $189. And remember that this is not veneered. There's plenty of different stores to choose from. You can check if it's in stock. And of course, it's supported by 2 Alex drawers. These are $79 each. That is exactly what I paid in store. And they do come in 3 different colors. They come in white, this gray here, or you can get it in like a blackish brown. At least those were the options in the store I was in, but I just opted for the white. And I think they turned out pretty well. And there's other stuff you can get too, other drawers, legs, if you want to brace it in the middle. But I haven't had any problems with that so far, so that's what I went with. Alright guys, so heading out into the garage, this is kind of the setup I was working with. Nothing too fancy, just a couple supports and a tabletop. But I wanted to show you guys also what I used, just kind of laid out on the table just to make it easy for you guys. Opted for the polyacrylic as opposed to the urethane, so I used water-based, satin, clear. Some tack cloth, obviously, to get rid of sawdust after you sand, and some 220 and 320 grit fine sandpaper, and extra fine. The fine was for the initial sanding, and extra fine in between coats of the polyacrylic. And I'll give you guys a little overview as well, so you can see it all laid out, and my nice little Worcester brush on there. Forgot to mention that as well. Alright guys, I'm just about to start applying my clear coat. Just wanted to show you guys what this looks like without any finish. It's a little bit rough. No gloss or shine to it at all. From what I was told at Ikea, it's just treated with a linseed oil. Remember, this is the Hammarp oak. And just wanted to kind of show you, give you a little angle there. It is not shiny at all. Alright guys, so this is it after 2 coats. It's a lot smoother than it was before. Still a little rough edges here. I'm going to give it one more coat here, sand it with 320, and I'll show you how it looks after the final coat. Alright, we just finished the 3rd coat, and now we're waiting for it to dry. And as you can see, it looks pretty darn good. Try and hold this steady for you guys. Get a nice view here. Look at that, nice and shiny. Alright guys, so here I just wanted to give you a closer look at what the satin finish looks like after everything I did to it. I did 3 coats of the urethane, or acrylic, excuse me, water base. 3 coats of the acrylic, and then I did at the very end, I did a quadruple zero steel wool, and it actually smoothed it out really nicely. But if you look in the back there, you can see very subtle wood grain rising up just a little bit, and I really like that. Just my opinion, of course. You could always do a semi-gloss or a high gloss, but I like the satin finish, and it's light years ahead of my old cheap particle board desk that I had before, if you guys remember that. So just go right above. There we go. Doesn't have too much color to it. It did amber it just a tiny bit, but I didn't stain it or anything like that, and I think it turned out really nice. So let's move on, shall we? Alright, so here I wanted to just show you guys that I didn't need to use any mounting brackets or anything. The weight of the table and whatever you put on top is really going to hold it down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm really going to try and angle this camera right about there. If you can see between this desk and the tabletop here, you can see those little, here if I can, 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's kind of tough to see. Those are little rubber stoppers that actually come with the Alex drawers. That comes with 4 of them. You can always put more, but I found 4 to be enough. It'll keep your tabletop here from slipping around. Doesn't move at all. And it's also going to keep your 2 wood surfaces from coming together and scratching each other up. So I apologize, it's kind of hard to keep it, there we go, right on level, but you can see it sits right on top. And I've seen other YouTubers do things like put risers in if you want it a little higher, but so far for me it's worked really, really well, and I've been happy with it. So let's move on, shall we? But unfortunately, after all that was set up, there was a slight problem with cable management, and it looked pretty dang bad, as you can see by this picture here. I was just making me cringe. But after putting up a couple Ikea Signums underneath, I would say personally it looks a lot better. I'll kind of give you a nice overall view here. I put 2 so it spans the entire length of the table, but if you opted for the shorter table, I'd assume 1 would probably be enough. And because I didn't want to do any drilling into the actual table, I used some 30-pound mounting tape. Give you one more quick pan here to see how it turned out, and I think it looks pretty darn good, and didn't even have to drill in the table. Guys, so with all that said, with the money I spent on it, the time I invested in it, some of the trouble I had, I am really happy with how this setup turned out, and it's better than I imagined it would be. And my favorite part is probably the length of the table and the expansion room. I'm always considering actually putting a 3rd monitor in here, and I'll have plenty of room for that with plenty of leg room underneath. Cable management is really on key. The people who've done this before really knew what they were doing, and I think it just turned out fantastic. So, although the one issue I have seen a lot of people mention, at least in their setup of this style, would be the desk sag, but after a few days I'd say it's okay, but just to be safe, I think I am going to pick up a leg from Ikea for like $5, sticking under in the middle there. I left a little room, if you saw from my pan earlier on the cable management, so just to be safe, I don't want to risk it. Probably won't have any problems if you do this yourself and just leave it. There's plenty of other YouTubers who put up videos and, you know, made it work. So with that said, guys, I really appreciate you watching the video. Please like it if I helped you out, and I always appreciate subscriptions as well. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this setup. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, and I'll see you guys next time. So thanks for joining me, guys. Peace.